Hello there, and welcome to Marauder TV. You're here with me, Gabe, and Tony, but we'll also have Lee, who's joining us for our Zero to Hero episode.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's...
Good evening.
What do we have to say to Lee tonight, then, Tony?
So, tonight is all about list building for AoS, and specifically AoS 3. I will just put a healthy dose of caveat to this. We have no FAQs as we're talking, and we're using the points that were kindly donated to the world through Facehammer. So give that that a watch. Some good guys on there, and friends of the show, shall we say? But yeah, I mean, this is really. Lee was sort of having a play around with lists, and we were chatting, so it was kind of like, let's put a little formula to this. So without further ado, he says, why is that not working now? Oh, there we go. We're good. So you've all seen these tables before. This is the example in the core rulebook. And effectively, each of these tables now is an affiliation. So if you're affiliated, you get all the gubbins, and ultimately that's how you build a list. So we'll come on to yours a little bit later on, Lee, and we'll sort of explore around that. But the key things to sort of have a think about, you've got unit size. There's no minimum, maximum anymore. That's the unit size. There is a rule around under units less than the unit size, but we'll completely ignore that for tournament play. It tells you how many points, the battlefield role, which again we'll sort of come on to, but the key ones here really are battle line and leader. Battle line, for a standard 2,000 points, you need 3. 1,000 points, probably going to need 2, and you need at least 1 leader to be your general. These other notes around unit size and things like that, but I think for now, that's probably, you got your head around that already, haven't you, Lee?
Yes. Yeah.
Brilliant. So the next thing that's really changed in this edition is the introduction of these core battalions. Mm-hmm. So this replaces the old War Scroll battalions. So there's no sort of jazzy extra abilities as such. It kind of plays around the core command abilities. So
they're a lot more interchangeable now, aren't they?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not going to sort of labour this too much. I guess the key things are the unit icons. Commander is any leader, doesn't matter how many wounds, how big, nasty, scary, or little goblin-y they are. Anyone can be a commander with got the leader keyword. But a sub-commander...
It's a leader battlefield role, not keyword though, isn't it?
Correct, yeah. And the sub-commander is everything that I just said, but has to be less than 10 wounds. That's 9 or less. Okay? So if you think of your big Beastclaw guys, Lee, they ain't going to be sub-commanders on the big monsters. But we've got fire bellies and we've got hunters, so you have got some options to sort of build around here. Troops is anything else, pretty much. So all your units, your Mournfang Cav, Frost Sabers, Noblars, Ogres, all that goes into troops. Yeah. 2 exceptions, if it's got the artillery keyword, battlefield role or monster battlefield role, they have their own icons. Yeah. All right. I'm going to only talk about 2 of these because they're all variations on a theme. Warlord is you'll probably come to realise probably my favourite of these 6. It gives you an extra command point once per game. Okay, and you declare that in your hero phase. So it's pretty good. It's a resource that you can dip into when you really need it. And it also gives you the magnificent ability, which allows you to take an additional enhancement. Okay. And what is an additional enhancement, I hear you ask?
That was going to be the question.
There you go.
So, definitely going to have to ask about this.
If you think of So these are all the universal ones. So these are in the main rule book, but you'll have all your army specific ones, and we'll talk about some of those. Yeah. But they are a command trait for your general, okay, an artifact of power for any hero.
So you can only take one command trait anyway. So
you can.
It's not an additional one, but that is an enhancement to begin with.
Well, I think Slaanesh have something that bypasses that with multiple generals. But
they have multiple generals, so they.
But we'll ignore that. You're allowed one. Whoever your general is can have one. The artifacts of power. So they're like the magic weapons and tombs and things. There's a couple of pretty nice ones in the generic core book. So you can make your Frostlord on Stonehorn a wizard. That's kind of cool. Then chuck in an endless spell or something, you know. And one of them gives you the bearer 5+ ward save, which is quite nice as well.
Yeah, that's all right on a Thunder Tusk. Not so good on Stonehorn because he's already got a 5 ward save. So.
Yeah. So it's probably worth saying.
It's brilliant artifact.
It's a good point. You only get one after your armor save now. So you can't stack these. So you can't go, I've got a 5 up there, and I've got a 5 up there, and I'm in mystical terrain for a 6 up, and you only get one. So you pick whichever one happens to be best at that time.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a few universal spells which are quite nice. So I think my favourite of these is the Flaming Weapons, which just adds 1 to the damage characteristic. So that's kind of cool. It's quite nice on your Firebow as well, or something like that.
It doesn't say that it has to be the casters. It can be a mount at the moment.
As it stands, yeah, but we won't get too down into that. Let's say we pre-FAQ as we're recording this. There's also
we'll do list breaking on the next video, Gabe.
Yeah,
we'll do rules as written versus rules as intended next time.
Column A or column B. There's also prayers and bits like that, but for the sake of explaining the enhancements, that's the kind of thing that we're talking about. And if I just go, no, I won't go back. But the Warlord gives you an additional 1.
Right.
Okay. When you build your army, you get 1 of each anyway. So you can really start to stack these up and make some pretty cool and colourful characters.
So it feels a little bit like almost, I don't want to use the word step back because obviously it's the game's moving forward, but it reminds me almost a little bit of the granularity you had at Warhammer Fantasy 7th edition, where you could actually, like your vampire counts, like the Blender Lord build, you'd give them this and that and the other, and it all come together. It feels, to me, certainly it feels a little bit like that. You're picking something awesome to make your standard character stand out that little bit more. So it's giving you, it's just like, just a bit more flavor for you guys, really.
Yeah, and there's some really good hobby type stuff built into this as well. I mean, if you're going to make your Frostlord on Stonehorn a wizard, well, I'm expecting pointy wizard hat, beard, and robes.
Well, my Thunder Tusk guy's got his spear broken off, so I might just turn that into a Harry Potter one. Just put a big star on it.
Because isn't the Huskard one's a priest, isn't he?
Yeah.
So you could have a priest that's a wizard as well.
Nice.
I imagine you could do a spell and then do your prayer, and you could go, I'm going to put Arcane Mystic Shield over here, and then I'm going to put my little prayer thing over here, and you can, you could do some really cool stuff.
It's a nice combo.
I like it.
If you could get hold of the old man-eater that was a ninja on and then do something with that, you could, I reckon that'd be really Anyway, I digress. So that's the basics. I'm going to go through the table now, how many of this and that you can have. We're keeping it fairly sort of straightforward for now.
Yeah, first steps.
So, an army that's close to my heart, my Flesh Eater Courts. It did say something completely different. It corrected all 3 words before, so it wasn't Flesh Eater Courts, and I'll leave you guys to think about that one. So this is my Flesh Eater Courts in the background. Love the army, love the theme. And unfortunately, over time, with changes in General's Handbook and little fine tunage, they really sort of started to sort of drop off from the pack, shall we say. And the main reason for that was around command points and artifacts. Okay.
Yeah.
But the new edition has breathed new life into that. And that wonderful Warlord battalion that I was talking about, because that gives you 2 extra command points, 2 extra artifacts. And the reason command points are so important to Flesh Eaters is that's how you get the rest of your army on the board, because it's all command abilities. So I'll just talk you through the 2 battalions and how I've put this together. I don't think I've put points on here for some reason, but there you go. So that's the Warlord battalion. So just as a reminder, 1 hero can have 10 or more wounds, 2 that have to be 9 or less, and 1 troop. Okay. So
yeah,
to
that's
get
the minimum, but you can take a bit more, can't you? Yeah.
You can, yeah. You get an extra unit in there. Now that does mean to get my 2 Warlord battalions, I need 6 heroes and 2 units. Okay, so it's a big, heavy investment in those 6 heroes. So Warlord Battalion 1. I've gone with the Ghoul King on Terrorgeist. He's me. He is the physical representation of me on the battlefield. He is Count Moore. And his Terrorgeist is having an ability called Gruesome Bite. That hasn't changed from ever because it's great. Lets him reroll his bite attacks. Okay, only hits on 4s, but any 6s just do flat mortal wounds. So it's they're really important attacks on him. I have then gone with a Borant Arc Regent. He's my general. And the reason I've done him as my general is because he sits at the back a little bit more. And I've given him the general's abilities, Hellish Orator, which gives you the potential for extra command points on a dice roll. So you know, I was saying actually command points are quite a precious resource to these guys. Just another way of sort of stacking the odds. And Dermal Robe makes his spell casting +1 to cast his spell and buy. So he's a support hero, but he's pretty decent. And he's only 7 wounds, so he counts as a sub-commander, even though he's your general. So, when you're looking at the images, your general can actually be a sub-commander.
Right.
So instinctively, you think my general's got to be the big guy, and it doesn't. You can drop him down. Yeah. Okay, so it's just quite... So you could have, for example, Lee, you could have a Firebelly as your general, absolutely no drama, and then still do a Warlord with your Thunder Tusk guy as the 10+ dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then Flesh Eater Courts are blessed with one of the cheap heroes, the Crypt Gas Courtier. They're not very good, but they're cheap and they're a leader, and they help me fill out the points.
Yeah.
Now this is all under Blister Skin, so it allows me to do flayers as a battle line. So I've reinforced those for Unit 6. If you've read any of the community articles, these bad boys are very, very good with the Unleash Hell command ability. So they've got some cool mechanics because the opponent's then in them and they're doing some horrible things. So that's Warlord Battalion 1. I've just realised I spelt battalion wrong, but there you go. Twice. Warlord Battalion 2. Okay. We've gone with Ghoul King on Zombie Dragon. For this one, that's the big guy. He's got the Eye of Hish, which effectively is an anti-shooting thing bubble. So that follows him around. The Vargul Courtier, I've given the third extra enhancement of the Flayed Pennant. It's an aura for reroll charges. So you can't you can't duplicate command points anymore. So you can only ever reroll a single charge. But the Vargul Courtier in the right place allows you to reroll all of them in a bubble. So again, it's capitalizing on that CP command point mechanic as best I can with these guys. The aforementioned Crypt Gas Courtier, because he is a cheap hero, cheap leader. which fills out the 3, and then the rest of my battle line are 2 units of 10 crit ghouls. Now, it is worth saying here that looks very small in terms of model count, but over the course of the game, I get to add another unit of 20 crit ghouls. I get to add another unit of 3 flayers, and I get to add another Vargulf Courtier into the board as the game goes on from command abilities. So it pads out a little bit.
So using these like battalions, then it almost gets this sort of, obviously when I've been looking, obviously the points got leaked and shared last week or whenever it was. Mm-hmm. So I was then building lists in the app, but then obviously I was concentrating on the minimum of 3 battle line and this, that, and the other, and that's where I think that's where I was tripping over myself. Whereas this sort of like that gets rid of that completely, doesn't it? So the troops, like you said, the troops is, as long as it's got the troop battlefield role, then that fills that slot. It doesn't necessarily have to be a battle line unit.
Yeah, absolutely.
No. Yeah.
But only battle line can be reinforced up to 3.
You can double reinforce effectively.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So that's having that explained a little bit better there. Now I'm like, right. I don't feel quite as like claustrophobic when it comes to the list building now, because the options are there. It's like, oh well, if you can fill these 4 sections, then there you go, you've got it, and then you've got these extra bonuses that go with it.
Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah.
And that also means that the Cruel Boys half isn't quite as inefficient as I thought it was going to be, because from the Cruel Boys box set you can probably fill out that Warlord battalion.
Oh yeah, easily.
Because I don't need 3 units of Gut Rippers, because I'll only need 1 to fill this out, sort of thing. Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Good. Back on the game.
You still need your battle line for an actual army. You still need 3 units of battle line, but any of those troops can go in this battalion, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
This is just an added thing. You still need the battle line to make up your force.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And then you pick these battalions from your army.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'm with you.
I think the other thing to note as well here, you don't have to have everything in a battalion.
No.
Yeah.
So it's you sort of, well, there's 2 ways of doing it. I mean, I've gone into this with a very specific goal of trying to get 2 warlords, because I need the enhancements for the artifact and I need the command points, because that's what Flesh Eater Courts, they burn through command points like they're going out of fashion. So I've approached it, how do I fill the battalions? Dink and dink. Now, if you're not so bothered about, the other way you can build this is you build your army and then try and slot them in, almost like a jigsaw puzzle, and say, right, I've got this. Oh, I could make a warlord and I can make a vanguard.
Yeah.
So there's different ways of looking at it. But it depends what you feel your gap is. So if you're looking at Mournfang Cavalry, for example, they're going to be off on their own. They're not going to be near your leaders particularly. So putting one of those in a vanguard, and they can use a command ability without having anyone around them,
right,
for free, might be where you want to sit those. But we'll come back.
Of course, yeah.
So that's Flesh Eater Courts. That's how I've sort of gone through that process. As I say, this is Blister Skin, and early Flesh Eater Courts. We'll see how they go. Now, Caitlin, she's our resident Nurgle player. How a preteen girl favours Nurgle, I've no idea, but there you go. Blame the parents. Yeah. So I'm not going to go through the same process here, but effectively, this is 1,000 points. So we only need 2 battle line in this. And the 1,000 points is because we're doing a daddy-daughter. We're at a tournament in December, one of the Carnage events run by Alex at Element Games. So we're just making an assumption that's going to be 2 1,000 point lists. But she was like, okay, if I get my 1,000 points now and I can have some practice games with you at home, when we then combine forces, she'll have a better idea of what's doing what and where and why and how. Now, Nurgle, and in fact all of the Chaos armies, work a little bit different because they can borrow units and models from other places outside of their own book. But there's a few things she said had to
as long
be
as it's got the Nurgle keyword.
Yeah. She has to have a great unclean one, which is award-winning. She's very proud of.
I've updated some of the all the Marauder interview descriptions, and I think everything remotely linked to Caitlin's got golden demon winner, and then it's in the tags as well. So if people are searching golden demon winners, then good chance
we might call with Caitlin. Bless her. So we've kind of made. I know how much she likes the great and clean one. So we've maybe not made the best choices here, but we've gone with the endless gift to try and keep him in the fight a little bit longer. As his artifact. Basically, at the end of the battle shock phase, any wounds he's taken over the turn on a 4+, he gets the wound back. So it just keeps him around longer. 2 units Plague Bearers, a 10 and a 20. That's your battle line. And then we've gone off piste, if you will, for a Demon Prince of Nurgle with the Wither Stave. That's the Warlord extra enhancement, and a Plague Priest. And the reason we've gone for the Plague Priest over anything else is because the only thing we could fit in with the points is the cheapest Nurgle hero that we could find. I don't think he's going to add an awful lot other than the fact that he's filling a slot and he's a leader. That's kind of what we've done for the 1,000 points. But I say we've approached that the other way around in that we've built what she wanted to take. So she likes a Demon Prince, she likes the Great and Clean one, she likes the Plague Bearers, and then we've kind of got 900-ish points, and we're like, okay, well, what can we do? Right, actually, the Warlord Battalion could be quite useful. Mm-hmm. Where are we going to find this little mini hero? Skaven. So we approached that one different to the way I've built my Flesh Eaters, because I was going, right, I need to build Warlords because I want the enhancements, I want the command points. Whereas when Caitlin and I were talking about this, it was more about, I want that model and I want that model, and then building it around that. So both ways are completely valid. Ironically, both got to the same Warlord Battalion. But there you go. I did say it was my favourite before we started.
Yeah.
Have you got anything to add into this, Gabe? I think you disappeared for a second there. I hate to say it, but I think you're on mute. Are we back?
Hi, folks. We're having some technical issues right now. We'll be right back after these messages. just put it.
We'll crack.
Put it in the group chat, Gabe, and we'll just hold it up to the camera.
No, he's going off and coming back again.
Yeah.
So,
what I was going to. I know our good friend Tom Maud will absolutely hate what I'm going to say here, but I love the narrative behind a little plague priest just being dragged along with this. It's like Nurgle army. They're just like, yeah, fine, you can come. It's like...
So I picture him more as like like a fanatical guy who's lost all his mates and he's sort of just joined the
stabbed them all in the back because he's escaping.
Yeah, and he's like the last rat standing and going, oh no, well, they look a bit. He looks really tough. I'm going to follow that guy.
Yeah, definitely. I'm having that.
And for Tom, we'll name them all as well.
Oh yes.
Oh. Yeah, maybe even do some background story on parchment and everything like that.
Oh, it's like I said, everything I'm going to do now is like I'm not even going to bother building or painting. I'm just going to write background. Are you back, Gabe? Are you with us?
No.
Oh no.
Still muted, bud. Is anyone lip reading here? Gabe did not mean to say that.
I thought he threw his mobile then.
No, right, we'll crack on. So that's how Caitlin and I have approached that one, because we had a different goal in mind.
Yeah.
It was basically trying to fit the great and clean one in and then finding stuff around it. So wrong button. There you go. It's going well. So now we come on to the Ogre tribes.
Yes.
I know you've been steadily working your way through, and they're looking very nice.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Definitely getting there. So
it's for test boy. The blur on Zoom's like blurring him out, but they
is a wee bit
censored.
So with Ogre tribes, now this is kind of like two armies sort of shoehorned in together. So you've got the traditional sort of more foot-based, foot-sluggy ogres, and then you've got the beast riders, you know, on the Mournfang or the Thunder Tusks and Stonehorns and various other cow type model. You've got, you know, it's a pretty broad stable. You've got some really tough leader options. Now, my understanding is that because they're so big and beefy and whatnot, they count as more towards objectives than anyone else does, even with the new rules. So your Mournfang count as 5.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Your Stonehorn Thunder Tusk count as 10.
Yes.
Okay, so it's quite important because if with all the smaller units that are likely to be running around, you only need to kill one dude in 10, and you're 2 Mournfang of King of the Hill.
Yeah.
So you know you're in a pretty good space. Completely lost game now. So one thing that is quite important with this, though, Lee. Sorry, I'm going into the next question. So, although we're going to write a little cheeky 1,000 points, what I want to do is prepare you for 2,000 points.
Yep, definitely.
That's tournament standard. But if you can get your battle line done in the first bit, it means you can go crazy in the second bit.
Yeah, it's done then, isn't it? We've met that objective, and then
absolutely. So that's how I always try and do it. So you have to have one leader.
Yep.
And you have to have 3 battle line for 2,000 points. So that's your minimum. Now, in Ogre tribes, the general is very important because you've got a lot of battle line if.
Yep.
Okay. Because your actual battle line in this book, the only thing is actually Ogre Gluttons.
That's right, yeah.
Okay. So you don't necessarily want to do Ogre Gluttons, you want Mournfang packs. So if you look at the end column on that screenshot / PDF / copy / I've thrown it into a PowerPoint, you'll notice that the Mournfang pack had battle line if generally is Beastclaw Raiders. Because that's in bold, it's anything in that half of the book. Yeah. So if we look at your Frostlord on Stonehorn, okay, he is your big beastie. I know he's on your table, isn't he?
That's it's a Thunder Tusk at the minute, but the list I had for Age of Sigmar 2, it has got the Stonehorn as the general, so that'll be the next box that I crack open. Then he'll be the general in that. So
right, let me see.
Getting built because the ones that I'm painting up now, they were already built. I bought them off somebody. So, but yeah, I sort of thought I'd use those as my practice ones and see how I get on with them.
That's all cool. So I'm going to assume one of them's going to be a Frostlord on Stonehorn. And the only reason is he's a chunky boy and he's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
That unlocks the Mournfang pack, which I know you're working on.
Yep.
So you can do a little cheeky Frostlord and Stonehorn, and 3 Mournfang pack is 910 points.
Nice.
Okay. Have we got sound from Gabe? I'm gonna go.
There was definitely something. It's like watching Clone Wars, the animated series.
Roger. So what you've got loads of options here now, Lee. And those Mournfang pack as the bottle line as you move into 2,000 points, you can actually combine them up and reinforce them.
Yes.
So you could combine 2 Mournfang pack into a 4 model unit, at 320. Yeah, it counts as 20 models. You don't have to worry about the coherency thing. So you've got some options, but I think that looks like a pretty solid base.
Yeah, definitely.
So 90 points is quite a lot to be under, though. So you kind of at that 1,000 point level, you're kind of going down the list and thinking what else you can do. So you've got Frost Sabers at 55, you've got a Gorger at 80. Gorgers are actually quite nice because they come on from different places, so you don't set them up so they're quite good for disruption, and the threat of it can keep people guessing and make people deploy weird.
I think I'll just need to find some decent proxies though, because I'm not a massive fan of the of the Gorgers or the.
I mean, you could do a Ogre Glutton, but then like frost it up and
get them a bit feral looking as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's giving me some good ideas actually.
Almost like a weird ogre.
Yeah. Yes. Have you must have some spare flesh eater coat hair and spiky bits kicking about.
Oh yeah, I got loads.
Oh, ace.
Yeah. Oh, I like it.
All right, yeah. I'm gonna get sketching after this.
We'll call him. What should we call him, Lee? Just for Tom.
How about? I'll have to get thinking of that. Nothing too offensive, but
no. Call him Tom.
Tom Maudsley.
Tom Maudsley.
This is Frosty Tom Maudsley.
Frosty
checking
Tom.
In from Gur.
Frosty Tom's like that. So that gives a really solid base. And if you were to get a ticket for the doubles in December, actually you could rock up with this and a mate and put your armies down. I'd actually have a pretty good time with that.
Yeah.
But what it is then, it's where you want to expand it from there.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know you quite like the Cruel Boys, but I think that's a sort of separate conversation. So I don't know how these two gel in together. Although I imagine you may be able to get some in as allies possibly in the new book, but it's very much Gloomspite Gitsy. So that might be because it's Troggoth only, so probably unlikely little guys are getting in.
Oh yeah.
But hey ho, right. So what we then need to do is think about where the army is going to fall down. So you have in this only got 8 models if we count the Tom the Gorger.
Yeah.
So models, although they count as more for objectives, what they're not very good at doing is screening space because they've only got a reasonably small footprint. So you could go with something like the Gluttons and have a nice 12-man unit of them. Or you could have an 18-man unit of Gluttons and just really make someone cry. No one's getting through that.
No, but that's painting 18 more models.
So no, you just spray them grey and then add some red on and call them done, don't you? I'm doing this wrong.
I'll do blue then. I'll do away with the light blue dusting. Yeah, that'll be
frozen, aren't they? You've got other options. Okay. Gabe was.
Can you actually hear me?
Yes.
I can now. You're back.
Oh my God, you can hear me.
Well, am I saying this all wrong, Gabe?
No. You got it all right. I was staying muted just in case.
It's all cool.
Yeah, for anyone unaware, Gabe is a hardcore destruction head.
Well, yeah, quite a bit.
We don't know why he is. So other things is probably you want to look into here. The Huskards, because they're priests, so they've got some play. The fact that you can make one of them a wizard, so you've got like a wizard priest combo going on. I believe that's allowed. Nothing that I've read in the core rules saying you can't.
Actually, one of the Bone Splitters, the Wardock, he's already a wizard and a priest.
Oh, there you go.
So his form.
So and one of the prayers is like a ward save as well, which is quite nice.
It's a really good generic prayer called Curse, which people have been using. So if you did have a big man, if you wanted to paint that many models of Gluttons with loads of attacks, if you get the Curse prayer off on an enemy unit, you basically every 6 to hit against that unit is a mortal wound, so it can proper chew things, especially if you've got a lot of attacks.
Yeah.
Is that I haven't really looked at prayers, to be honest, because I haven't got any priests. Does that count on ranged as well as combat?
I presume so. Yeah. It's it's quite a short range. It's only 12-inch range, but say
I'm thinking of the Noblars, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, if you had it, say in Caitlyn's Nurgle, you had your little plague priest, didn't you? Little plague priest can just do it. Could just sneak up behind, and you could multiply the attacks on the plague bearers and stuff like that. Because those heralds can like dish out loads of extra attacks to them, and the Guo can dish out extra attacks to them. So they just end up deleting things and stuff like that.
I'm just trying to find these prayers now. So I quite like Noblars because they're cheap bodies. But I know, Lee, the thought of you having to paint 20 or 40 little dudes is probably quite not where you want to go with it.
Yeah, this is it. Like for me, it's like the reason I went down Beastclaw raid down the BCR route originally was I'm like the big models, and I don't need a lot of them. I think this is where we'll start seeing that my sort of approach to gaming and list building is more like what's the absolute bare minimum I can do to get this to a legal army. Whereas obviously, like you boys are a bit more like, oh well, if I can screen 40 of these little dudes, then I can do this. And I'm like, that'll take me 4 years. That'll take me 4 years to paint them.
I'm exactly like that, Lee.
Yeah.
I have to start a new army like 2 years before it's good.
Yeah.
So here we go. So I've got this curse prayer up that you can put on your Huskard, Lee.
Yeah.
It's only range 9.
Oh, is it 9? All right.
Okay, so it's not a great range on a 4. So a 4+, so 66%. So pick an enemy unit, as Gabe said, and so any unmodified hit roll for an attack that's a 6 does a mortal wound in addition to normal damage.
Decent.
So Noblars have got quite a short range. I keep going down this Noblar route. You almost double tap because you can shoot with your slings and then charge in and hit with your slings. So if you can get the Huskard in the right place, that could really ruin.
I'm surprised you know so much about Noblars. When did you know so much about Noblars?
Secret tech. And the cheapest chip, so if it doesn't work.
Are you selling them?
No. I did have Noblars years ago. So, there's that. But I think the Huskard combo is quite nice. If you can make one a wizard, which is fairly easy to do. That's kind of that. I know that's kind of cool.
I think it's quite good as well because I think priests can only do one prayer now, and I think their prayers are pretty naff, to be honest. They're like healing prayers or something like that. So if you did want to stick a generic one on, they're probably just better anyway.
Yeah,
if you wanted to use one of them, but yeah.
So you could kind of go. I mean, you could go the other way and go with the bless for the 6-up ward save, and then be a wizard and cast Mystic Shield. So you've got +1 armor and a 6-up ward save on a unit. Yeah. From one neat little package. So he's kind of cool.
Yeah.
What you will need though, Lee, if you're thinking, that wonderful warlord battalion that I favour so much, is some little heroes.
Yeah,
and by that I mean 9 or less wounds, sort of less than 10. So you've got a couple of options. You've got your Firebelly, who's a wizard.
I've already got one of them, so that's helpful.
So that's kind of cool. So your guys are quite frosty and whatnot, aren't they?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think because I'm sure I've got a flying carpet for your Firebelly to go on as a bait.
No way. Because the other thing I really like about the Beastclaw Raiders is the fact that they're all mounted. Like the idea of like somebody on foot, sort of like, would they really be there? Which is why my old list, unfortunately, had not unfortunately, but 4 lead belchers in it because I just needed to like round up the points.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously with this, like, if you use on a magic carpet, that would be banging. That would be absolutely brilliant.
Isn't one of the generic spells a fly as well? So he can make himself fly. So.
No. Now you're getting complicated because he'd need 2 dudes. One sec, I'll just check because I've got them here now. Levitate.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can make himself fly on an 8.
Oof.
It's a big number, isn't it?
Risky business, that, isn't it?
So he's quite a good answer though. For he's I think he's level with the hunter as the cheapest heroes.
Yeah.
But he gives you another access to a wizard, which is another mystic shield in the right place, etc. So he's kind of cool. The hunter's not to be dismissed either because he's got that set up not on the board shenanigans, hasn't he? So you suddenly put Tom the Gorger in, and then you have your hunter, and suddenly people have got a block space that actually you don't expect to block playing Beastclaw.
Yeah. You wouldn't expect such a small footprint army to start causing people problems about where they're going to deploy.
Yeah, because
or whatever.
And I mean, I noticed this more when I was in the old change host days, is because people know you've got some sort of shenanigans with teleports and whatnot. People deploy really weird.
It makes people deploy like idiots.
So you very much and I think it was Russ actually. He's saying when we're going away from list teching into gaming tech here, but when you're playing a game, you want to present your opponent with more decisions than they want to be answering, because the more decisions you give them to make, the higher the chance they'll make the wrong one somewhere, and then you can sort of put your plan into place. I'm not sure whether he's doing one of those, but he did like a seminar after one of the face hammers a few years back. It was really, really good. Sort of getting the insight. But anyway, I digress. So you've suddenly got Frostlord on Stonehorn, you've got Huskard on Thunder Tusk, you've got your Mornfang cavalry, you've got Tom the Gorger, you've got an Icebrow Hunter and a Firebelly.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're still probably only on about 1,300 points here.
Okay,
so you've still got no, you're
Kragnos.
not. I'm lying. I've not counted him on 13. You'll be on about 1,700 points. Actually.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I hadn't counted the Huskard in that.
Yeah.
Minor technicalities. So you've got probably enough space to put another monster in there. So you could go for a load of Noblars, but I think I'm just banging my own drum there.
Yeah, you're gonna have to stop trying to make Noblars happen. It's not.
So effectively, then I think you're going to end up with something along the lines of your Frostlord on Stonehorn, Huskard on the Thunder Tusk. So he is your priest dude.
Yep.
You've got your Mornfang battle line. You've got your 2 little mini heroes, so you can chuck a load of it in the Warlord to give you extra enhancements.
Yeah.
And then you have another monster, and that probably rounds you out to a nice list. And what you can do, and we've not covered them here, but in the General's Handbook, the way it seems to be designed is each season, which is a year, there's going to be like a story or a narrative that underlines that campaign. So this year, it's all about the Realm of Beasts. Yeah. So grr. So you can put some of your stuff in battalions that are included in that. So you could put all your Mornfang in a battalion that stops monsters being able to do monster things on them.
Oh.
So no roars, no stomps, no nothing.
Yeah.
No.
So, suddenly you're able to capitalize on all your monsters, but they can't retaliate against, a good chunk of your list. Especially if you put the Gorger in, because he can be your troop choice for the Warlord battalion.
Yes.
Cheeky. But that's the thing, you see, because it doesn't specify battle line, it's just units.
Yeah.
So you can play around a wee bit. There's Vanguard and other bits, but I think that sort of seems like a good base to work from, Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah. But one thing I will say is that as you can't, just so Lee knows when he's list building, you can't stick the same units in multiple battalions. If
No,
you know what I mean. The battalions are obviously free now. They used to cost points, but you can't have the same unit in 2 battalions. Just so
yeah,
you know.
that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, I'll just check. I've added this up, and I've not written a really weird, like 27,000 points.
Me rocking up to the first tournament without checking the points that Tony's given me. 9 stone horns.
125, 125, and 385. Oh,
look at that.
60.
Head maths. What you could, oh no, you can't quite get it in. I was going to say endless life swarm, but you can't quite get it in. But you could fit a little endless spell in there. Or you could play for one of the triumphs, and 40 points under might just get you that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't worry too much about that. But has that, what are your thoughts, Lee? Because I mean, obviously,
yeah, no. I honestly, like I say, I just used the 3 start collecting sets that I had to base my original lists off. Then I had a bit of a mess around throwing a fire belly in, and your man Hrothgorn or whatever, just because I really like the model for that guy. But then, yeah, because I didn't like the model for a Gorge, I completely just wrote that off. I was like, no, I don't like the model. Don't want him going in. Never occurred to me to proxy mod or anything like that. So it's having you talk about it, explain it, and why, and this, that, and the other. It's like I can see now the fun in putting an army list together and seeing what I can do. Whereas, like I say, I just go, right, what's the absolute bare minimum? It's functional for me. Just trying to get what I need to. Right, 2,000 points. That's 60 points more. I'll use that because it means I'm closer to the end goal. Whereas this, obviously, this just feels like a bit more efficient list building, while it's still ticking a lot of boxes. So it's been really useful for me. This, thank you.
That's good. That's the point.
Yeah.
Glad it has helped, but I mean, I love writing lists. I'll sit for an hour just faffing around and finding board scrolls that I haven't read in ages, just to
I think as well,
see if I'm missing something.
Yeah, but that's the thing. When we were saying in the chat the other week, was it you or Toby or Tom? I think was saying oh well, I don't want to buy the book just for all the fluff because I only need the rules. I was like, I don't read the rules in these books. I get the I think I've looked at the war scrolls at the back of the books, but ordinarily I just buy them and just read all the lore and the world building. So
I don't think you look at them until you've actually played a game anyway, because it just doesn't make sense until you play the game.
I look at it and go, oh, that looks good. I think, I don't know, and then go back and read what happened in the Age of Chaos or whatever. So, but I think you're quite right there, Gabe. The fact that I've not actually played, it means I'm obviously less interested in knowing what they can do because I've not actually put anything down yet.
As soon as you can get a game in, though, and I think you'll realise how fun, especially with an army like that, and how quick it should be to paint and do well, because they're brilliant models and a low model count as well. So you better get it on the table quickly, relatively, as opposed to other armies. But then you'll be realising, whoa, this is actually fun, and then you can look at other stuff and even branch out and start going from there.
Yeah, definitely. I think these are the paint scheme I've got for these as well. If they hadn't been pre-built, these ones, I probably would have had them finished because I'm having to be a bit careful doing this, that, and the other. The next patch that I do, I'm going to sub-assembly, and I'm probably just going to get a purple contrast paint for the skin because the skin's 3 or 4 layers or whatever, and I'm like, I can be more efficient with this. It's 95% contrast as well. Those guys just absolutely blast them out. But I think what I'm going to do in the meantime is crack open another start collecting box and get the rest of these Mornfangs built, and then try and get down to the gaming centre. It probably won't be next week after.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're sort of sat here recording on the Monday. So release day is this coming Saturday.
That's right, yeah.
So we have got a little corner of Element that's Orange Army. So
VIP section, all ropes off.
Absolutely. Red carpet and everything. So Caitlin and I, as many want to come down, but we're going to head down with 1,000-point armies. So,
oh, nice.
We'll see. I mean, it might just be that Kate and I end up playing each other and going home. But
I'm definitely coming in. I'm definitely coming in to pick up my box. So I'll be able to have around.
So if you can spare the extra hour, we can run through that first 1,000 points.
That'll be mint. Actually, I'll try and get them built. Well, not try. I'll get them built for Saturday.
Yeah.
I'll just have to proxy the my Thunder Tusk for a Stonehorn, but I'm sure you'll be all right with that.
Yeah, as long as the scroll's right, it doesn't really matter what's in that sense. But just it's again, this is sort of a Les Martin thing. It's about getting the reps in. That's what he always used to refer to it as. And it is. It's just about putting it on the table and the space, and then suddenly you might go right. Okay, well, the 3 big beasties is cool. But what I really need is some speed bumps.
Yeah.
Okay, what can I use as speed bumps? Well, you've got Gorgeous, so you could have another Tom. You've got Yeti. You've got other things that you can slot in around that just fill space.
A Mega Gargant. That's like a quarter of your army, and you can stick it in there. It's a nice big speed bump.
Yeah. Well, actually, this is it's slightly going off what we've been discussing this evening. Obviously, I don't want to drag it on or waylay us too much, but it's so destruction because I know early doors you could just have like a general Grand Alliance army rather than a specific faction. Is that something that you could that's going to carrying over into 3, or is it specifically just down to factions and allies?
I have not, from what I've read and seen, seen a way that you can do Grand Alliance armies anymore.
Right, okay. I was thinking it was getting Kragnos and then one of each unit that I like from all the different armies.
Yeah, I know.
As well, but no, I'm sticking with the Billy Boys.
Kragnos can go in any, and he doesn't care. His moment standing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could sacrifice 2 of your big dudes for Kragnos. If you so desired. But I think you'd be losing a lot of flavour.
Agreed.
So as it stands, Ogre tribes are their own thing, unless you was really desperate to put some trolls in there. But you don't even want to play ogres, so, as in foot sluggers. So
exactly,
trolls seems like a high road to nowhere. So it is pretty much its own thing.
Yeah, I'd say that just get the minimum what you need for an army painted as well as because anything like I joked and said the Gargant and there's obviously the Trogos, but those things don't count towards your minimum, so they're just extra things that you may not even need. So get your minimum and then work from there. You just need a base. The spine of your army, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, then what we need to do, Lee, is try and get you a buddy for the December thing.
Yeah. That's where I always fall down, getting people to play with.
Oh, well, I've got my beautiful daughter for my buddy, so
I've been partners, Tony, but now I've just found out that clearly not.
It's always been Caitlin.
Yeah. That's it. I'm desperate to get my 2 involved, but they're 19 months, so it might be a while.
Yeah, even if you add the ages, you've got a way off there, Lee.
still a bit to go. But they're into dinosaurs and fairies, so there's definitely a strong age of 6.
That's all right. Wood elves and Seraphon, they'll lie.
You just need him into fat guys now. So
yeah.
Fat guys
you lift my t-shirt up and go Daddy's belly now, so that's starting it. Daddy's belly. It's really good this side. Thank you.
I think we'll sort of wrap it up because I think we're getting into the territory of rambling. So thanks guys for coming on and
cheers.
Thanks for tuning in. Do you want to see us out while I work out how to stop recording when I'm sharing a screen?
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll do more episodes with Lee of the 0 to hero of Age of Sigmar, getting the newbie into it and seeing how he gets on. Hopefully he sticks with it, being the hobby butterfly he is, but you never know.
I think I will. I genuinely do think I'm going to stick with this because I'm involved now, invested.
So remember to like, subscribe, share if you can, and I'll remember to put my audio on next time. So
fantastic.
Right, hopefully I'll press this button and it'll all disappear. So thanks for watching, guys.
Cheers, bye.
Or not. Oh my word.
I can't believe that. My brother fucking rung me and then it fucked up.
We're still recording.